Reporting for duty. Another time together. We're gonna stream. I'm gonna do some React. Let's get into it. Let me just check. Normally, oh my fucking god. Let me just do it the right way. Perfect. Not perfect at all. Fuck. Whatever. I'll just move these ones. Damn it. I'm kidding. Okay. I have my C, so let's do it this way. Okay. Right. Okay. The strange history of Motionless in White. Spooky. Don't forget to leave a like and sub to the punk rock MBA. Is awesome, is a legend if you like documentaries or just like I don't know, like rock and death metal type of like culture, punk rock culture type of content. Anyway, let's check it out. I know the songs that everyone knows. I'm not a big fan of Motionless in White, but like may this become a reason to become one, because so yeah, let's check it out. And yeah,
you're one of the people out there that has said that you want to hear it. Thank you very much for letting us know.
Let me just check out if my fucking stream is okay. Everything is working.
If you're one of the people that are sick of it, suffer.
The honest truth is that most bands are at their best on their first album, maybe their second album, but unfortunately it's usually downhill from there. Which is why I'm so fascinated by bands who do the opposite. For example, Ice Nine Kills, who took about 15 years to hit their prime, Falling in Reverse with Ronnie Radke now being 2 decades into his career and hitting new heights like every month.
Yeah, that's the reality of show business. It's really stupid, but like if you really want to know the secret to succeed as a public as a celebrity, as someone famous in any way, as an artist, you have to do the time. The time is pretty much what is the guarantee of someday someone will kind of like whatever the fuck you are trying to fucking present as entertainment, right? Entertainment or art. And basically like that's kind of like the real logic that like you can check it out. Like most the biggest like maybe actors, music artists and stuff like that, like they just count the number of albums or movies, or like just count like the amount of products that they have put out on the map, right? And this is kind of like the secret if you want the fucking answer about this. And I think that like it's not talked enough. So just so you know, the biggest secret is for real. Like if you do it long enough, you can find you can find a following if what you're doing is bringing some positivity or like it's bringing something. You have to bring something, but like it doesn't have to be as polished and as much a masterpiece such as what you see. Everyone starts somewhere. All right.
And the subject of this video, Motionless in White. The band turns 20 this year, and yet somehow it feels like they're just getting started. Hitting 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify, top billing on tons of festivals, and collaborating with WWE, among many other accomplishments. And they're one of those rare bands that seems to appeal to pretty much every facet of the metal community. If you look at their fan base, you'll see everyone from sort of your average deathcore guy to the goth TikTok e-girl, the casual butt rock guy, metalcore kids, like really pretty much every metal fan archetype you can think of. And the question is, how did they do it? How did a bunch of guys from a kind of small city in Pennsylvania go on to become one of the biggest metal bands of their generation? And what is their lasting impact? Those are the questions that I will answer in this video. But first, a little story. A couple years ago, a good friend of mine got his identity stolen, and let me tell you, it was absolutely awful for him. They ran up thousands of dollars in charges on his credit cards, and it took him forever to get it straightened out. Now, let me tell you about Aura, the sponsors of today's video. After witnessing what my friend went through, I realized how vulnerable so many of us are online, and that is why I use Aura. Aura alerts me when my data has been part of a data breach or leaked on the dark web, plus fast fraud alerts, and it removes my information from data broker websites. Plus, there's transaction monitoring, a VPN, antivirus, a password manager, parental controls, and identity theft insurance, all in one app. And Aura is offering a 2-week free trial for my audience. You can go to aura.com/punkrock to access it. And if you think this kind of thing can't happen to you, think again. For example, Ticketmaster was recently hacked, and the data of 560 million users was put up for sale on the dark web. But if my information was compromised in the Ticketmaster data breach, I would feel a lot better knowing that I had Aura. I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable to data breaches, and if you don't want to either, you can go to aura.com/punkrock and try your first 2 weeks for free. And that's also linked below in the description of this video. Motionless in White formed in 2004 in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which you may know as the home of The Office, and named themselves after an obscure song by 18 Visions. And they pretty much hit the ground running. During their first couple years as a band, they immediately started touring and released a few EPs. The first one was The Horror in 2007. And as the guys in the band would probably
Okay, this is cool sounding. I'm like young sounding too, but like this was already like at some punch.
to tell you, this is definitely a little bit rough around the edges, but at the same time, it does kind of have that like late 2000s charm to it. I kind of like it. And musically, you can kind of hear the traces of what they would go on to do in the future, but overall, I think it's closer to maybe something like Under Oath than anything else, which is obviously pretty different from what they're doing now.
Okay, this is what the fuck?
But with their second EP, When Love Met Destruction in 2009,
This was noise.
this is where they started to sound a lot closer to what they would do on their first album. And shortly after that, they attracted the attention of Bob Becker at Fearless Records and got signed, which led to them releasing their debut album Creatures in 2010. And this got them a pretty good amount of attention in the metalcore scene right off the bat. They went from basically a local band to a fairly well-known national band very quickly with this album, and for good reason. For one, even though they certainly do sound different now, if you listen to it, this album is still essentially the core foundation of their sound. What they did is essentially take the whole like metalcore with synths kind of thing that Attack Attack popularized and put their own fresh spin on it. For example, instead of using the synths to do a dance part like Attack Attack and Asking Alexandria did, they used them to build up this kind of like dark, brooding atmosphere. Another thing is the image and aesthetic that they were going for. They were doing this sort of horror Halloween kind of thing, which at the time nobody else was doing in metalcore. Remember, this was like the height of neon cartoon monster merch. So the whole like horror thing was very, very fresh at the time. It almost felt like they got Tim Burton to sort of be their creative director for everything outside of their music. And of course, another factor for them getting all that initial traction is the songs themselves. They kind of managed to be like the best of both worlds, with some of the most accessible, catchy choruses in the genre, but at the same time having heavy parts that were heavier than a lot of other metalcore bands. It's the thing that every band says they're gonna do, like this is our most catchy but heavy album ever, only Motionless actually did it. And I think them not being afraid to go so extreme in either direction was really what made the band stand out at the time, aside from obviously the aesthetics. And even though they were getting a lot of attention off the back of that first album, they changed things up quite a bit with their next album, Infamous, in 2012. Right now, the only words that you have for me are give up and get out. And this is the point where they really sort of transcended the confines of what you would think of as traditional metalcore. Not only was this their most commercially successful release to date, it also established them as one of those bands that's just not going to be put in a box. I mentioned before their ability to appeal to all these different corners of the metal scene, and I think this is where that started. They're one of those bands where they can combine things that are borrowed from other bands and other genres and put them all together into a new thing. And even though you're sort of aware of where those things may have come from, it still sounds unquestionably like Motionless in White. For example, on this album, they ramped up a lot of the industrial elements of their sound to the point where some parts really wouldn't feel out of place on a Rammstein song. We take medication to be someone else, and we take off our clothes to pay for the bills.
Okay, like I said, Motionless in White, actually, I'm a sleeper on it. So I'm discovering like kind of tiny bits of its history, but at the same time, like kind of like what's good about it. And actually, like I'll probably take the time to add it to my two fucking like let me just I'll just add it because like really makes me wanna check out let's say okay, let's check out
meanwhile, there's other parts like this that sound like something Slipknot might do. And aside from that, I think there's like a dramatic, noticeable improvement in just the overall songwriting. And so you put all that together and it was just overall better than the first album in every way. And this would continue on their next album, Reincarnate, which came out in September of 2014. Crawling from hell. And this was more or less a continuation of what they did on Infamous, just a little bit more polished and refined. It's definitely the most gothic thing they've ever done. So if your favorite aspect of the band is the Marilyn Manson, Tim Burton kind of stuff, then this is definitely up your alley. And even though it was the most heavy, pissed off thing that they had done so far, songwriting wise, I think it's also the catchiest, with choruses that put most of their peers to shame. And I was sort of watching them level up year by year by year, but to be honest, I didn't really pay that much attention to them until I saw something that really caught my eye and made me respect them in a whole new way, which was one of Chris's posts on Tumblr from around that time. And if you remember, this was the height of the whole like savior core thing with people like Austin Carlisle and Matty Mullins kind of positioning themselves as these inspirational figures that were here to save their fans, which on the one hand sounds cool, but there's something about it that just felt like very slimy and egotistical and like narcissistic to me. And in this Tumblr post, Chris basically put that whole thing on blast.
Oh my fucking god, Tumblr. Oh my god, girl. Like, did you forget about Tumblr? Oh my
8 out of 10 bands, clothing lines, and public figures around now are on the inspirational message train. I've been watching it grow for the past few years. I can't see a band anymore without hearing the same regurgitated and hollow words come from their mouths. I haven't seen a clothing line released lately without the accompanying message in any variation the company decides to convey it. Do people not realize that they're being scammed? And there's even more than that. Like, he just completely went in on this. And I thought it was really cool that he said that. Number one, because I completely agree with it, but also because this was like a genuinely bold thing for him to do. Like, he was going after a lot of people that, at least at that point in their career, were in bands that were bigger than Motionless. So I think taking a stand on this was a real risk to their career, but I really respect that he did it anyway. And overall, with Reincarnate, this is where they really cemented themselves as one of the most popular bands in the sort of overall metalcore Warped Tour scene kid kind of demographic. But they still hadn't quite hit that next level, which is to be one of those bands that's on the top bill of a lot of these major festivals that are sort of flirting with mainstream popularity. And that is exactly what happened with the release of their next album, The Graveyard Shift.
I'm ready to bury all of my bones.
And if you're around back then, you'll remember that metal was not in the best place around this time. The scene overall just kind of felt stale. There weren't really any new bands breaking through. It felt like a lot of the older bands were in a rut. Warped Tour was kind of on its last legs. And so we were really just kind of looking for any kind of signs of life. And so this is one of the few times where it felt like an event when a band this relatively young released a new album, and for good reason. For one, commercially, this was easily their most successful album to date, hitting number 9 on the Billboard charts, which was pretty crazy. I certainly never expected that from the band that put out Creatures only 4 years earlier. And that essentially took them from being a darling of the Warped Tour scene to being a major festival headliner kind of band. And musically, it was also their best work to date. Once again, the songwriting overall was just better than anything they'd done before. In particular, I think it's really impressive how varied the album is. To give you a few examples, if you're into Marilyn Manson, then a song like Rats might be up your alley.
Well, this is pharmacist, I insist, fix me up with something quick.
Or maybe you're just like the pure metalcore kind of person that's into All That Remains and August Burns Red, in which case a song like 570 will have you covered.
If you mean it, you'll make it.
Or maybe you're the new metal guy, in which case the song Necessary Evil is for you.
But I won't die for you! Here's my body, and I'll die when I want to.
And this level of genre bending and playing with so many different sounds while still managing to stay somewhat cohesive, I think that's something a lot of bands try, but the vast majority of them fail at it because just honestly, it's really hard. Because this is something where in order to pull it off, an artist has to have great songwriting chops and also a just sort of overarching umbrella creative vision of what is the common element that ties all these different things together so that it doesn't just sound like a jumbled mess of shit smashed together into one album. There's really only a few bands I think that can pull it off, for example, A Day to Remember or Falling in Reverse. And with this album, Motionless in White proved that they were also on that level.
Weight of morality and check it at the door. I'll show you the worst in me.
And coming off of the success of this album, something interesting happened a year later. One of the songs, which was a deeper cut from the album called Voices, didn't initially get much traction when the album was released, but a year later they released it as a single with a video to go along with it, and all of a sudden it became their biggest song to date. It currently sits at over 50 million views on YouTube and almost 100 million on Spotify, which really just kind of shows you the power of what can happen when you push a song as a single, even if it was initially overlooked. Something like that doesn't happen very often, but it's always cool to see when it does.
Voices in my head again, beating me in a war I can't win.
And after that, they would continue their upward trajectory with their next album, Disguise, which came out in 2019.
Found myself by losing hope.
And with this one, they pretty much picked off where they left off with the last album. So if you liked Graveyard Shift, well, you'd probably like this one too. Although one thing worth pointing out is that this one had a lot more nu metal influences as compared to the previous album.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
But what's even more interesting than that is the thing that happened with Voices on the last album happened again with this one. Again, almost a year after the album's release, the song Another Life got the same single and music video treatment after initially being just kind of another song on the album. And once again, it ended up being their biggest hit to date. It currently sits close to 200 million streams on Spotify and well over 50 million on YouTube. That's 250 million streams for a band that initially seemed like they were going to be just another one of the many Warped Tour metalcore bands. I think it's kind of fascinating that this phenomenon happened back to back.
I saw an interesting track that I want to add to there. Whatever. I'll do this. Here we go.
I don't really know why, but it was really cool to see.
But I hate that it seems you were never enough.
And this song also kind of broke out of the overall metal scene and started to get on the radar of people who don't normally listen to the genre. It kind of cemented itself as the breakup song for a lot of people, which I thought was really cool because to me, one of the most impressive things that any artist can do is to reach outside that bubble of their core fan base who already knows them and get people to care about them based purely on their music that don't know anything about their history or their scene or any of that stuff. And soon after that, they released a standalone single called Time.
Just saying, like, this was like he showed like the exact two songs that I know. I'll check out. It made me curious though.
Time Bomb in 2021, which I think is very much in the vein of something like As I Lay Dying. And after that, in June of 2022, they released, at the time of recording this video, their latest album, Scoring the End of the World.
I pull the sun from the sky to freeze the future of time.
And in my opinion, it's easily the best thing they've done so far. For one, it's still as varied as ever, but they've also brought in a whole bunch of new influences. For example, the song Slaughterhouse featuring Brian Garris of Knocked Loose, which has like a lot of elements of hardcore, something where obviously they have some roots, like naming themselves after an 18 Visions song. But sonically, that's territory where they had sort of never really gone before, and so I thought that was really cool to see.
You made a deal with the devil in a bloodbath. Now there's a price on your head, seal the contract.
And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have a song like Werewolf, which has kind of a pop sensibility with vocal lines that almost like wouldn't really be out of place on a Taylor Swift song.
I can be honest, I can be human, I can become the silver bullet.
And with this album also being their most commercially successful to date, once again hitting the Billboard Top 40, they're really getting close to that level where you could almost start to think of them as a mainstream band. For one, they recently appeared on the WWE main stage, performing the theme song for Rhea Ripley, which, if you didn't know, is one of the biggest stars in WWE wrestling.
Rhea Ripley being played to the ring by Scranton, Pennsylvania's own Motionless in White.
And time will only tell if they're able to sort of break through that glass ceiling of true mainstream popularity. But if any band has the potential to do it, I think Motionless is one of them. Which brings us to the last question in this video. What is their lasting impact? And obviously it's too early to say because I think this band still has a long, bright future ahead of them.
I think that like it's interesting, like really like streamlined and without like much like I really respect the fact that like there wasn't any moments in the video where I told myself, hey, what the fuck is going on? Why would they do that, you know? Like, it really looks like a band that like really worked hard and really became successful without like any problem. And it's really something that I'm happy to see, because like there is always like these controversies about like drug abuse is not funny, so obviously, but like problems with different bands and stuff like that, the way show business functions, right? And here it's like really like streamlined and really chill and really like something an example of a good and a beautiful career, in my opinion.
But let's talk about what they've done so far. For one, I think they're one of the main people who brought that like Halloween, Tim Burton kind of aesthetic back into alternative music, which has obviously become a huge trend among other metal and alternative bands. Like
This also, I kind of like didn't talk too much about it because I kind of like missed the word and I kind of missed the point as well. This is actually really cool though. This is actually cool though. Like the Tim Burton type of aesthetic. Like this is actually like kind of dope. I think it's like now like with this exact clip. I can see the vibe and I can understand what he means, and actually they pull it up pretty well because like Tim Burton is like really not something that like you can just like tell yourself I want to have like this type of passion right now, you know, like just because, you know. And yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Everybody from newer artists like Kim Dracula to people who've been around a little bit longer.
By the way, Kim Dracula, like, he started on TikTok, is a fucking machine. He's a really good artist. If you want to check it out, check him out. He has like really cool songs. He has like really like a cool spirit, you know. To him, he has like a really explosive personality, I'd say. Like, check him out if you never did, because like he has like beautiful songs as well. Like he has beautiful releases.
Like Ghostmane, who hasn't put out music in a while, but still is one of the biggest names in sort of the alternative music space. Another thing is that while their music is definitely great and it's gotten better and better with every album, I think they've shown the power of what happens when you put just as much effort into the aesthetics and packaging around the music. Like, they put just as much energy into their music videos, image, and overall marketing as they do into their music. This sort of flies in the face of this idea in the metal scene that your success should be determined purely by your music alone, which I find funny because that's never really been the case in metal. You look at everybody from Slipknot to Kiss to Guar to Limp Bizkit, and the through line for all of that is like really strong visual aesthetics. And Motionless is a band that clearly understood that from the very beginning. But I think maybe their biggest contribution is that they were one of the early pioneers of a thing that you see now, which is bands going in the extreme in seemingly opposite directions. For example, if you listen to a band like Spirit Box or Sleep Token, they either go full on pop or like full on deathcore levels of heavy. And yet it totally works, which is very different from the standard of what came before, which was for bands to be like kind of heavy but not really heavy, and like kind of pop but not quite pop. Everyone wanted to just sort of play it safe right down the line, and then bands like Motionless come along and say, no, you can go super extreme this way, super extreme that way, and it still works. You don't.
Yeah, like I think like the poster child of this type of artistic liberty is actually Bring Me the Horizon. That really shows that like you can do whatever you want and still release albums that are coherent and that never make you feel that like it lost touch with the band and the music that you fell in love when they released their first albums. So I think that Bring Me the Horizon is really the poster child of this ideal, you know?
Have to split the difference. That's something they did way back in 2010 on Creatures, and it's something that still is a trademark of theirs to this day. And with that being said, I have no idea when they'll decide to hang it up. Certainly doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon because they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger without any signs of slowing down, but who knows? All I know is that if they continue on the path that they're currently on, I think that we're going to look back on them as one of the absolute greats of their generation. All right, my friends, that does it for this video. As always, let me know what you think in the comments, and
fuck. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Punk Rock MBA for this beautiful documentary about like the story of Motionless in White. I actually asked myself, will it motivate me to actually like listen to some more? I actually did, so don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to him. Is really dope. Like if you're into this type of stuff, like give it a try, because like he has like so many more like good documentaries about like other bands. So yeah. Let me just do it like this. Okay. next on. Okay, Indie Game Hub, if you don't know, like, it's subscribe to them. They actually do like promotion of like indie games, and sometimes some indie games they actually go kind of big with their trailer. So let's check it out. Train Watch official announcement trailer. Sounds interesting. I don't know, like I'm just like kind of hyped up because like each time you see an indie game kind of pop off, you know that like it will be kind of it has to be something, you know, like, so let's check it out. Okay. This is actually a really interesting game. Okay, there is something really funny about like this trailer where like it's kind of like stupid but cute stupid, because like they really did that listing, and slowly, if you take the time to fucking understand every fucking thing that they told you that you must do, it's just like, it's really cute and adorable. And I think that like it really makes the trailer interesting because because like this also shows that like this is like just the basics of the game, and they kind of like let you on just kind of like the mood of it. By the way, Labyrinth, like this game, where is it? This was a game on PlayStation 1. Basically, it's a Labyrinth. But like I think that like overall the aesthetic is really pretty. The character design, the art direction is really like really inspired. And I think that like overall the concept and the idea, like, and just the fact that like it goes from like such a simple such a simple like basic. I think that like I hope that like the game will actually stand to because be as hyped as hype as the trailer, because like basically like either way like the way the game is made, like I think that like it shows that like it's fun, it looks fun, right? Now will it hold up? This is the only thing that like I've really asked myself watching this train watch, because like everything else is really inspired, is really cool. Like you can see that like there's a lot of passion in this project. Like every detail is really creative in its way, and I think that like they're really happy. Like you can see, just because of the way they present it, you can see that like I feel that like they are happy with the product that they are promoting, and I really hope for them to actually like get a good answer, and I just hope that like the game will actually succeed at being fun and actually bring something. But like really great train watch. Give it a maybe. Give it a maybe. 1666 Amsterdam. Let me just official early access release date trailer. Okay, let's check it out.
My name is Jean-François Boivin, co-founder and executive producer at Panache Digital Games. Today, let's talk about what drives every moment of 1666 Amsterdam. The world of 1666 lives to the rhythm of the full moons, what we call the Esbats. That time when energies surge and the originals can be identified. First, the day is your mask. Amsterdam awakens, and with it, the work of the collector begins. Noah roams the city's neighborhoods to track the identity of the originals. Using her powers in broad daylight is possible, but it comes at a risk. The city's militia is in a frenzy, actively hunting those suspected of practicing magic. Magic is at your disposal, but so are the consequences. Your mission during the day? Investigate the city to uncover the identity of the originals. They live among the citizens. They have names, addresses, habits. Every clue brings you closer to the name with which they signed their contract. Every name brings you closer to fulfilling your purpose. This is where Aaron becomes crucial. As a cat, he possesses abilities that Noah could never have on her own. Two characters, two ways to read the city. Then, the night is your scene. The originals reveal their true nature. It is the moment where they use their powers to their full extent. is also the only moment you can confront them. Noah takes the stage with everything she learned during her investigations of that day. Spells, potions, and essential artifacts. The sacred branch and the Hipara, inherited from the Xandaris, to carry out her duty as a collector. Finally, she will seal the reclaimed Nux into her sacred Nuxifer book until the next cycle. Every original is a different fight. Every Esbat is a trial. What you uncover during the day determines how you survive the night.
Okay. This is big hype. This is I actually really like. First off, the place it's set is something really unique. Amsterdam. Who cares about Amsterdam in a video game? Apparently them. So this is great. A game about medieval, but like not dark age medieval witches. This is actually fucking cool because like everything we know pretty much about witches within like the history of the world is the Salem trial, and that they kind of did stuff, right? And I think that like this is really an interesting take, an interesting subject, and something that looks actually really fun because witchcraft is actually quite something that is a culture that still exists and that still has codes that most likely, I believe, are still respecting what witchcraft was. And what witchcraft was all about like really like they said, moonside, full moons, cats, like rituals in the forest, stuff like that. It's not like completely dark, but the fact that like they made a game around this is really something special because they really took the time to think about it, and I'm really happy about this. Another thing, if you didn't know about this game, the creator of this game is the creator of the first Assassin's Creed, the original Assassin's Creed, and this is actually a passion project that he had for a long time, that he actually got to work on. So yeah, just if you were not hyped enough, don't forget to leave a like to support the creator. And yeah, like to me, like depending, like I think that like this is like give it a try, especially if you're into, because like the art direction is really inspired, the subject is really interesting, and never seen before, to be honest. And there's a lot I think that like that is fun just because of for example the aesthetic, because like the aesthetic of the game looks absolutely unbelievable. So give it a try when it releases if it's your fun. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, Dying Light 2 Renaissance. Don't forget to Project Renaissance Best Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe to show your support to the content creator. So and the promoters of these games. It makes everyone's life easier and to live a like. Alright, Dying Light 2 Renaissance official gameplay teaser. Okay, this is interesting. Let's check it out. Okay, this looks interesting. Cool. Whoa. Again? Okay, let's check this out. Gameplay wise, wow, this is fluid. Let's check it out from closer. Like the map, like the scenery is absolutely wonderful. Look at just check it out. Just check it out. Isn't that fucking pretty? Like, just take the time to getting a little bit more involved in the map design, right? So let's check it out. So this is the map, like you play on. The movement is really fluid, really looks fun to play. You do free running, like this looks like really fucking dope. The free running looks really fluid, and like really fun to just like do. For the rest, as they show a tidbit of fighting. So this is more a classic, something more classic, but at the same time adding like let's go back to the fighting part. Yeah, because yeah, okay. Okay, there's some like cool style, but like this is more classic, but formula that really works and functions. And past that, question is, story-wise, will it hold up? Will the game hold up in general? Because like I actually know nothing about the story, but like, does it hold up? And is it really fun? Like for a full game? We'll check it out. Well, only time will tell. I mean, let me just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So Dying Light 2, if you're, but like, here's the thing. I'm not the type of gamer that is absolutely into this type of games. So, but I know that like if it's your type of your genre of video games, it is it must be cool to be seeing this at release. All right. Pocket. Yeah. Okay, that's it for today. For this React stream. Actually, I had more fun than I expected. Like, the releases are interesting, and that's enough for me for to have fun and good documentary overall. So yeah, I'll see you another time, and as always, be toxic.